Is yours turned on? You got a green light?
Oh, no green light.
Right.
That explains. I hope I'm just...
That's why I have no waves for you. Do you mind participating in the podcast?
Have you got waves from me now?
I do.
They're nice and wavy.
Yes.
Grand.
Like a porpoising arrow.
Yeah, but you have to do that thing with your hand.
It's not a visual medium.
Okay, fair enough. So we're spontaneous because I'm not allowed to use the other word.
No, because spitball is a disgusting word.
Yeah, okay, fine. That's okay.
Some of us have class and manners, Owen. I want to say thank you to our listeners because I've been watching the statistics because I'm a nerd.
Okay.
So I want to say thank you to our listeners and thanks to those leaving comments.
I haven't been reviewing the comments.
That's because you can't.
Okay.
You have no access, Owen. You review the Instagram and Facebook stuff.
I don't have admin privilege.
No, you don't.
Yes.
But yeah, no, I wanted to thank our listeners, and we have listeners in Ireland, obviously, United States, Switzerland, the Netherlands, I'm sure I know who those are, Egypt, and there was another, Germany.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
So we're reaching far and wide. But that's fantastic.
I want to thank those people for their support and everything. And we have some followers on Blue Sky as well. Ian McNamara, he's based in Galway. And he follows us. He's on Blue Sky.
Okay.
Marky JK10, he follows us and he's on Blue Sky. And we have another follower who has chosen to remain anonymous for some reason. So, yeah, hello to them.
Okay.
And thank you for joining us.
Okay. So we're going to talk a bit about you, Roberta.
About me. This is all about reflecting now on everything.
Yes. So this time it's your turn.
It was always supposed to be my turn, Owen. It was always supposed to be my turn. It just turned into yours. But you have given very good insights and experience and everything. So I'm glad how it's gone.
It's only fair that we turn the tables.
Grand.
And so I wanted to find out from yourself how, from your perspective, how your journey has progressed, what you've derived from it, how it's differed from the very, very first cold, dark autumn evening when we first met for coffee. And I told you about this little idea of mine.
No, we met in the summer.
Was it summer?
Yeah, but we didn't start the training until autumn.
Okay, but it was still cold and dark because it was late.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
Bloody wasn't. It was during the day. I have messages I can look back on and tell you what time we met.
Fine. We met anyway, and
we did meet because once again I failed to read something correctly.
And I pitched this idea to you, and you were like, "Yeah, okay, I'm in," which is cool.
I love how muted you make me out to be. I was very animated and full of give me everything to do. I want to do stuff.
Very first day in the leisure centre.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, when I was manic, yeah, that was great. Great first impression. My farty chair.
You were, to be fair. And I was thinking, brilliant. It was a good start, and I mean that 100%. But look,
you wrote about it in your diary that night.
But come here, when we first put that ad out there, and you answered it, and you saw, oh look, Archery Club in Portarlington.
No, honestly, do you have Alzheimer's?
No,
that's not how it happened at all.
I thought it was.
No.
How was it?
I came back from Centre Parks with the child that you try and spawn, and he had done archery and he was actually bloody good at it.
Yeah.
And he said he wanted to try it some more, and I said, right, when I go back, I'll see about it. And I had been looking at another club for years, but because when I drive at night I can't see the Poxy Road, I was like, I can't go there. So I emailed them and I said, is there anything closer to me? And they said, we can't really go into much detail, but this person here is setting up a new club. Here's the contact info. So that's how I contacted you.
Okay.
And apparently I was one of the first.
You were the first.
I was the first to contact you.
The first. But anyway, despite the,
Your Alzheimer.
and the route we took to actually meet, which we can debate another time. What?
There's no debate. I have messages. I have receipts, sir.
Did you have any preconception or idea of what to expect, or what you thought you were going to get into?
I literally didn't. We're just going to, but most things in my life, I expect the worst. And then if the worst doesn't happen, I'm like, yeah, grand. Because I've already dealt with it. And if the worst does happen, I'm like, we've processed it already and it's fine. I'm not going to freak out. So I went in just expecting nothing, really.
Okay.
It was, we'll just go in and we see how we are. And if it doesn't work out, okay.
Okay.
So it was very open-minded, just very, it is what it is, go with the flow.
But then if you're going to say that you went in expecting the worst.
No, not necessarily.
I don't mean that, but if you had that kind of a, I suppose, predisposition to look,
I call it positive pessimism.
putting a kind of a, there's a strong possibility this mightn't work out, or but something odd obviously made you come back the next time.
Yeah, it was the same thing that really, look, my son aside, it was the same thing that made me go in the first place, is that when in the past, when I've done it, I've loved it. And the fact that there was this place local, and there was this opportunity, I was just, things have aligned now for this to happen.
Yeah.
So do it. I'm a bit of a hippie sometimes. I'm like, everything's lined up now and the universe is giving you this opportunity, so you need to go with it. So that's what I did.
Brilliant. And when you started as well, and you walked, did you have any, because you knew you were going to be starting a kind of a beginner's course, did you have any kind of, again, predisposed ideas as to who else was going to be in the course? Did you have any kind of reservations about other potential beginners or what they were going to be?
No. I'm the worst person to interview. No, I genuinely didn't. I was like, this is for himself and it's for me, and everybody else can look after themselves, and I'm just going to go and get on with it. Yeah.
And then when you come in and you see the other archers, again, did you think, again, when I see beginners coming in, I'm always, I suppose, interested with the range of people, different walks of life, different stages of life. Is that something that kind of maybe, did you notice that?
Or I did. Especially, I think the younger child was there. Yeah. So I was just like, this is great. And then there was people of different ages and abilities as well. Yeah. So I did notice them, and I was, this is great. Yeah. I didn't feel in any way I stood out or I was taking up space or anything like that. Like some places you go, some sports you get involved with, or some groups you get involved with, you feel like you're taking up space. And I don't mean that because I'm obese. Literally, you're just taking up space that they just don't want you there. I didn't feel that ever. I always felt like I was supposed to be there. And yeah, it's just, I was kind of like, this is what it is, and this is how it's meant to be.
We're rapidly coming up to a year now with the club, and that's good going.
A year in September.
A year in September. And you're in the hall, you're shooting every week. What's keeping you there?
What's keeping me doing it is it brings a little bit of sanity and a little bit of, what's the word? Predictability to my life. Structure. It brings a bit of structure to my life, because everything else, there's the usual stuff. You get up at that time, you bring your child to school, you collect them, you do this, you do that, but everything else is in chaos. Knowing that shooting on Wednesday at this time, shooting on Saturday at that time, a bit of predictability.
And aside from adding structure, and again, when you mentioned the necessary tasks there, bring the kid to bring Alexander to school and that, do you think that there's a certain, not just the structure of being something to look forward to every week, do you think there's a certain novelty or uniqueness in actually archery as well? There's a certain, it's actually break from that norm in a big way, in that it's archery?
In a way it is. If I say to people, I do archery, they're just like, oh my God, that's amazing, kind of thing. But to me, I'm kind of like, it's archery. It's not like this thing for me where I'm just like, it's incredible. Yeah. I'm just like, it's archery, and I don't know why people have that view of it.
Why wouldn't they? When you consider the way archery is presented to us.
Yeah.
I mean, that it is presented to us as a fantastical novelty, high-skilled, highly technical kind of pursuit.
Yeah.
That normal people don't do.
Normal people. Yeah, I suppose it's superheroes, or it's in fantasy books, and it's in this and it's that. Yeah, it doesn't have the publicity and interest that a lot of other sports would have.
So for you, maybe it's an element of escapism as well. Oh, I've got her now.
No.
She's biting her nails.
Are we going to have a very deep philosophical conversation?
Oh, I don't know. I thought that they felt like we're sliding right there now.
Yeah, no, I stay with it because I suppose it's doing something for me mentally and physically. I'm getting rewards for it. I'm getting dopamine from it. So that's why I keep going back. Plus, I just get to abuse you all the time,
I know
which is a major bonus.
that's great fun. And I try and go over to the other end of the hall and just
No,
follow me around. And,
yeah. No,
you know,
you do try to have a break, and then I'm like, oh, and look at this grouping. You
yeah.
don't get a chance
But
to.
I'm genuinely like to see that. You know.
No, like the other week when I was like, praise me, and you were like, oh my God, that's incredible. I was like, you're such a bitch. I worked so hard on that, and you're so mean to me. That was excellent grouping.
It was excellent grouping.
12 arrows, and it was nice.
And do you feel that now it's not just going to stay just grouping? That's not going to be the box for you to tick every week now from now on. It's just there's going to be other challenges and other kind of objectives now for you as you move on from that.
Well, no, see, my grouping has gone to hell again.
Why do you think that is?
Because I've changed my anchor point.
But that's not a bad thing. You're just experimenting.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. I'm saying it's gone to hell, so I have to try and get back again.
Yeah.
Because I changed my anchor point, so everything's different.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to work on getting my grouping back. Last time I shot last Saturday, but then again, last Saturday was not a good day. I was all over that.
Yeah.
Like all over.
But to be fair, you were recovering from an illness. You had your a bit of downtime too, and that they have to give yourself space for that too. Fairness.
Yeah, but at the moment, like my focus will be trying to get that grouping back.
Good.
So
good, and you will get there.
Did your ankle just crack?
Yeah.
Jesus, we want an ambulance.
No, it isn't. It's a cartilage thing. Do you know what I heard? Oh, geez, we're going way off topic. It's actually not. It's not cartilage, but it's actually air.
It's like with your knuckles when you crack your knuckles. It's air popping.
It's air popping.
Oh, that just did it.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I cracked my ankle. You cracked your knuckles. This is
excellent.
Very edifying now for our listenership.
It is. We're full of hot air.
Yeah.
There you go.
You spoke about the routine. It's the domesticity of what you do, bring Xander to school and all of it. But then you come in, you do the high, you shoot. You lose arrows. Not loose arrows, but loose arrows. Not lose them, loose them. That's the proper term, apparently. It sounds like losing them, but not losing them.
Oh my God. I'll be collecting my pension by the time you get to the end of the question. Come on.
Okay. I suppose how important is that it's... I don't want to focus on say, women in particular on the question, but the routineness of normal day-to-day life. Do you see it as archery as being for people like within that kind of routine? It's actually a really good way of stepping out of that and how.
I mean, it's the whole thing for me. So I'm not going to generalize.
Yeah.
The whole thing for me is that once I became a mother, I was someone's mother, and that's how I was referred to.
Yeah.
It's, oh, that's blah, blah, blah's mother. And you lose a massive amount of your identity. Okay. Like a lot of people, the father went back to work. He kept being that person because he had that job. He was referred to as blah, 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 who works in this department or whatever, and I was blah, blah, blah's mother. That kind of way. And so going out and shooting, I'm Roberta the Archer. I'm not blah, blah, blah's mother, although he does archery as well. But when I'm shooting, my child's neglected. He's shooting over by himself. Obviously very safe. Everybody has their eyes on him, including myself and everything else. But that's my time. And he's perfectly able to shoot as well, which is great because that keeps him distracted. But when I'm shooting, I am Roberta the Archer. I'm not someone's mother necessarily. You know what I mean? So it just gets me out of that kind of that thing. And when I was working, it was, oh God, I've had an absolutely shocking day. I'm going to go up and shoot some arrows. I'm going to get that all out, be done with it kind of thing. And it just breaks everything up, and it's a different identity. Like I know Veronica was saying when she picks up to her bow, she feels empowered and like a different person or whatever. I can't remember the direct quote, but it's that thing. Like the minute I pick up that bow, I'm a different person.
And do you think that's because the bow is like your bow is no different from any? Like it's a bow. No, fair enough. Bows come in different specifications and pals and lengths and sizes. when you pick up that bow is the equalizer. Like you're shooting your trad bow, whether it's beside somebody shooting a compound bow or somebody shooting a long bow, that the bow is actually
He's an extension of me, like,
it's an
you
extension
know
of
what I
you.
mean? Like, I did put a lot of thought into buying him
I know that,
and
yeah,
whatever else.
yeah.
And I love shooting him. And it's just like we're a little pair together. You know what I mean?
And do you think then, because again, go back to what Veronica said, where she said she'd have felt that it gave her a sense of empowerment. But I'm curious, the empowerment thing of a bow, because it's a bow, or is it the leveling or the equalizing aspect of the bow, in that you're shooting a bow, I'm shooting a bow. Gender's not
No,
really relevant. We're both shooting.
it's not the equalizing thing at all. It's
Yeah.
that this is, I can do this.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I have this bow. I know how to use it. I'm good with it. And it's just that. It's nothing to do with who's standing beside me.
Okay. It's just purely to do with the bow and the shooting of it, or the letting off the bow
Yeah.
and the form and all that. Why that then? And that's as opposed to say, what's so unique about then archery then compared to other pursuits that gives you that sense of kind of independent empowerment, that kind of
Well,
release.
the thing is, I can only speak again from my experience, and
Yeah.
mine is team sports.
Okay.
And I think with rugby, it was like you're reliant on each other. And so there's a lot of consideration in terms of others. And obviously, and maybe it's a selfish thing then, obviously with archery, you are still considering others because of the safety aspect of it and everything else. But I don't have to put myself on the line for everyone else. And with rugby, that's what I did. I was a number 3. I was on the front row. I was taking hits. I was doing that for people I didn't even like. You know what I mean? With archery, it's a case of it's just me. I'm looking after me. And I've gone off on a tangent,
No,
so I
you
can't
haven't,
remember what you
because
asked.
it's funny, because when you mentioned there about the team sports, and I suppose that could be the same for all many. Well, not to be detracting from team sports, but all teams. But it's the same whether you're a boy or a girl, or you're an adult or a child.
Yeah.
Team sports have that kind of
Yeah.
interdependency. But when it comes to, say, a woman doing archery, and again, not trying to be generalistic or pigeonhole people or anything like that, I'm curious about why it is archery that gives you that sense of independence and empowerment and strength and autonomy and volition. That what is it about archery compared to other pursuits? And I'm not, again, not to be generalistic, because there's so many other things. What is it about archery in itself that is so uniquely empowering and inducing of that kind of self motivation?
It could
Sorry, guys,
be
my stomach's grumbling in case anybody hears that.
the depiction of archery.
The depiction of archery.
It could be. And, I'm
Okay.
not going to say it is, but it could be because and we both shifted our positions.
Yeah. I want to see where this goes.
Like you have what's her name? The Greek goddess, the Archer. Can't remember her name. Everybody shouted at the thing. Grand. You have Greek gods, Greek goddesses depicted as archers. You've got it in popular media, the way women
Course,
are,
yeah.
and everything else. It's this power, it's this strength, it's this don't fuck with me thing. You know what I mean? In general, I'll say stuff to people. I don't hold back. I'm not rude about it, but if somebody's being a certain way, I'm not going to sit there and just be kind of like, yeah, whatever. But then if you give me the bow, that's an added bit of confidence on top of that. I have this thing where I do stand up straighter when I have it. I do have this strength from it. It's weird. And it could be because of the way it's depicted. It's people, like women who do it are just depicted as really strong warriors and all that kind of stuff. So maybe it's from that. I don't know. It's not as good an answer as you wanted.
No, it is actually, because, and again, when we followed this particular train, the first thing you said there was, when you walk into that hall, you're not just Roberta, you're Roberta the Archer.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's important about archery. Again, for people, again, not necessarily women in particular, but we're trying to follow a certain kind of train here. But regardless of whether, again, you go to a shoot and there's people from many different walks of life, it's not even relevant where they're from. But particularly for, say, women in particular, again, I'm not trying to be generalistic, but to step out of the typical kind of pigeonholed kind of standard identity, or whether it's imposed upon or self-imposed, it's interesting that perspective is taken, because I never really thought about that. that archery is a kind of a tool of empowerment, symbolically representing independence and strength, and all that comes with that.
But we spoke about it before, and it's very much like I was saying to you, and it's something that I want to obviously talk about in the future, is it's seen as a very male sport. It's not seen as a feminine sport. And I think women who come in and do it, it does give them that kind of empowerment where they're just like, I can do it as well. And it's Artemis, by the way, is the Greek goddess. Yeah, I think, and I'd like to get feedback from any of the female listeners as to whether or not they feel the same about it.
I think it's an important area to capture because, and again, it's not to turn archery into kind of, I suppose, a fantastical kind of alternative means of seeking identity, because it is a pursuit and it is a sport as well, but that it's also used as a kind of an extension of somebody's independence, their free will, their inner strength. I think it's a really interesting way of looking at it, and it's certainly something.
It's definitely something I want to explore more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you think, per se, women in particular who might feel that kind of certain loss of identity because life has taken over, the duties of life, I suppose, that it's a means for them to potentially explore themselves a bit more, and they're not from an introspective point of view, but their own, say, abilities.
But any sport is.
Not necessarily.
I suppose it depends on the individual.
It depends on the individual and depends on the sport, because you can have sports which are very much strictly goal oriented.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you bring rugby back into it.
And this is where what I like about archery is that archery is a sport as governed, but it is much more than that. Whereas some sports are very strictly goal oriented. It is about the cup. It is about winning the league or the final or the region or whatever. That's the objective.
Yeah, and
sorry, you either make the team or you don't.
Yeah. The thing is that I suppose I was painting from my perspective as it being quite a solitary thing, but at the end of the day, I don't have anything without the club and the members of the club as well.
Yeah.
Everyone, I suppose, in a broader sense, it's a team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's still a team there, but and definitely there's that support there and everything. But yeah.
But that brings you back to something I touched upon earlier, the whole autonomous support.
Yeah.
That you're enabling somebody to develop independently on their own, because that's their own free will, their own choice, and give them the tools to do that. But the whole thing about the autonomous supportive environment is that they're within an environment that enables that they're not isolated.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And I think that's very important for everybody. But I think, again, you can cut across me because maybe for women, maybe that kind of not being crowded, and but the tools are there and the support is there for them to explore this pursuit. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. There's a thing called being touched out.
Yeah.
And a lot of, and I'm speaking as a woman, so I'm just going to talk about it from a woman's perspective. And again, it doesn't apply to all women.
Yeah.
But like I remember when our son was born, and I used to wear him practically 24/7 because he had silent reflux. So if I put him on his back to go to sleep, he'd get really distressed because the acid was burning his throat from the reflux and everything. So I used to wear him in a baby carrier all the time. We also had a cat, and the cat wanted to be on me all the time and everything. And then Mal would get home from work and there'd be questions and everything. And it'd get to the stage where I was like, can everyone just leave me the fuck alone? You know what I mean? And so you're just touched out because the cat wants something, the child wants something, Mal wants something, this wants something, blah, 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 blah. Somebody's ringing, blah, blah, blah. And it's just, God, can I just have a minute to myself? Yeah. And I think that's the thing with archery, because you can go along and you can just shoot away. You don't even have to, like, I'm obviously a needy bitch. So I'm like, oh, and come look at this. There could be people who go and they're just kind of like shooting away and they're happy as pig and poo. And that's what they're doing. And nobody's going near them. But nobody's going near them not out of a bad thing.
Yeah.
Just nobody's going near them because that's the vibe, you know, and whatever. And I think for a lot of women, that is the thing. You just go and you do your thing and you're left alone. And yeah.
I think it's an important environment, because then it allows people the space to, I suppose, explore archery and the pursuit at their own pace, but they're not under they're not being pressured, they're not being monitored.
Exactly.
You say they can always yell at somebody over there, listen, come over, help me with this, whatever, whether it's me or anybody else, we're all there to help each other, you know.
Like some people are just there just to shoot. They don't care about anything else. And there's no pressure
And
because it's like they're not doing a competition. They're not
and
doing this. They're not doing
do you
that.
think then, and sorry, because I'm only cutting across because I know I'll forget because that's what I do. But do you think that's a need in general that women need in life, that this outlet, this kind of, because there's not a lot of pursuits out there that kind of offer that, I don't think. And maybe Archie never intended to be that way. It just happened
It's
to offer
not,
that.
I can't answer that question because I can only answer for me.
Yeah.
So again, if like female listeners want to give us feedback, by all means, absolutely 100% would love it. For me, yeah, there are times where I just don't want to deal with stuff and I
Yeah.
just want to be left alone, despite me still being like, Owen! It is an amazing outlet for it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Once I get set up in the garden or whatever, it's just going to be amazing because
Yeah.
I can just go out there and just shoot.
And just let it off,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah.
And then if you have any queries or you want to work through, you come to the hall and we'll sort that
No,
out.
no, WhatsApp you. Owen! It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Please leave me
where are you?
alone.
Get over
Sorry,
here
I
now.
forgot what time it was. I keep doing that to people. God almighty. Not everyone's a night owl. But yeah, I would be interested in getting feedback from listeners about it.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting avenue to pursue, because I'm conscious of it. Like I said, I don't want to drift too far from it being a sport because that's what it is. That's the objective too. But I'll also be mindful that what it can offer as well. So it's about striking a balance.
Yeah.
I think it's something I think we be nice to pursue and explore and get other people's views on that.
Absolutely.
And it's interesting to so again, it's not necessarily about going back to. It's always nice to get that tight grouping and in the bullseye and all that kind of thing. But it's, as you say, picking up that bow, and that bow is an extension of you. You've chose that bow. You put a lot of thought into it. You're working on it. Sometimes you've got a bad day with it, good day with it, but you're still Roberta the Archer.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's. I think that's what it is. I think that's why I do it. Part of it.
And one thing I like about Archie as well, again, when you're at the club, when you're shooting with people, what they do or their backgrounds or their lives or the divisions they hold is completely irrelevant.
But at the same time, I want to ask people about that stuff because I'm just interested in people.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, think you're being nosy or you're trying to find stuff out for whatever reasons, but I'm just trying to find out because I really like talking to people and finding out about people. And again, like I said before, like their motivations or their interests and that kind of thing.
And when you started, and then the first couple of sessions, and you see how they're going, and different people shooting, different people practicing, different people being coached. Did your kind of, even though you went into it with an open mind, did you start to see did you perceive a direction that it was going, or potential that, did you say, hang on, this isn't what I expected, or this is, or did you see it evolving a different way than what you might have initially kind of, when you first pick up a bow for the first time, you're being coached and going, I'm going to teach you how to shoot. But then when you get into the second or third session, you start to see it developing in a certain way, and you think, hang on, this isn't just about maybe competing. Did you kind of feel that there was other avenues there? Hang on, this could open up other avenues for me of exploration or interest?
I'll be honest, when I started shooting, it was more just to see, was I good at it?
Yeah.
And because I thought that I was good at it, and now you're probably like, oh God, what do you say? But I was actually better at it than I thought I would be. You know what I mean? And that kind of built my confidence up. And that's when I actually started thinking, okay, maybe I could do competitions down the road.
Okay.
Because initially my motivation was to just go and shoot and see how good I am or how bad I am. With my son aside and all, it was, from my personal perspective, it was about, like how good I could be. And then, okay, if I am good enough, I might want to go out and do competitions or whatever. I haven't thought of any other stuff aside from that. My main focus at the moment is just the thing in March. That's what my focus is.
Okay, so tell us a bit about that.
There's a competition in March.
Yeah,
Pressed buttons, registered, no idea. They were like, do you want these faces? I was like, sure.
And how do you feel about facing into that now, and the work we're going to do for that, and the practice we're going to do for that?
I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And I'm really looking forward to, I know I'm going to, and people are like, you're so pessimistic. Shut up, I'm not. I'm a realist. I know that when I go, I'm going to balls it initially, but then I'll be like, okay, we've
On
got
the
that out of
day,
your
you
system.
actually feel you're going to balls it on the day.
It's the first couple of shots, absolutely, because
Okay,
it's a completely alien situation to me. But that's fine, because it's an alien situation to me, and I need to. There's also going to be a lot going on around me and everything, so it's going to be about trying to pull my focus in and different things like that, and just blocking everything out.
It's going to be,
know.
it's an amazing experience. The few times I've done indoor competitions, not just with IFAF, but with AI as well, to see so many people there and the buzz.
Yeah.
And the apprehension's building, because in spite of the coffee and the chatting, eventually,
Because of the coffee,
maybe because of the copious coffee, in about 20 minutes, you're going to have to step up to that line. And how do you feel about that?
That's what I'm saying. I'm nervous about it because I've never done something like that before. But I'm also really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Because I want to see what I can do.
Yeah. And then we're going to work towards that. We're going to put in the practice. And what category are you shooting there in that? What category? What boast category? I think it's bare bow.
Yeah, bare bow. Yeah, that's it.
We're going to teach you how to string walk. The dark art of string walking.
I don't want to. I just want to bloody figure it out myself.
Okay. And you will.
Yeah, no, because string walking is really, again, I think I'm more just really traditional.
That's okay. Well, you can shoot. You don't have to string walk if you're doing bare bow. If you're,
But it would help, right?
It could help, but not necessarily.
Okay.
Because you have whatever it is, 6 set distances. I think it is.
Yeah.
Please, guys, don't quote me on this. It's 7. It's 5. I think it's 6. Okay.
Nobody has been rude in their feedback thus far. Thank you.
No.
Our listeners are lovely.
But in their thoughts. Anyway, but you got a handful of distances, and once you have those nailed down, which we will, no problem.
No, to be honest, I'm nervously enthusiastic about it.
Fantastic.
So the aim is the competitions in March.
And the competition in March. So what are you going to do? What is your plan looking like between now and then? What kind of practice are you going to be doing? What are you going to be?
How are you going to be? You tell me.
Oh, right.
I probably won't listen to you. You can tell me.
You do listen. You just pretend not to.
I listen and adapt it to my own needs.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's okay too, I think.
Of course it is.
Yeah. Perfectly fine.
I don't know. What is the whole thing for? Do some competitions for the next 2 months.
Do some competitions, get out there, and we're going to do some. I'm going to introduce you to target competing, and not just in IFAA, but hopefully some of the Archery Ireland stuff as well. Get you out there, flinging arrows.
I'd rather shoot them than throw them, to be honest.
Yeah, hundreds of them. One of the competitions that we were talking about was the 720.
Yeah.
I think you're going to nail that. It's going to be really good fun. I've done a few of them. They're really good fun. 144 arrows, not including the warm-up ones. And one distance, so we're hoping. And then also the indoor season will be kicking off around, say, October, November-ish. And again, we'll do some of those too. And look, the principle is the same. Aim at the center. So plenty of practice.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like that kind of evolution of things, to be honest.
Yeah. And when we went to Harbour House that day,
yes,
and you had your 20-pound bow,
yes,
and we started off, what distance did we start off at?
20.
And then what did we end up at?
50.
And you were hitting it?
Just.
You were hitting it.
But that's when we decided to need to do the 22. And
yes. Yeah. And this is all part of the journey. This is the learning curve. We establish these things, and we think about these things, and we try out these different things.
He's good. Bain is good for 40, 45. 50 was pushing him.
You reckon? But did you have the objective? Do you have the objective of, or did you have the intention of shooting a higher poundage bow, or did you feel that you had to maybe push yourself to go for a higher poundage bow? Because did you feel that maybe there's a certain, I suppose, prowess or skill involved with shooting a higher poundage bow, or is that something that you felt was important to
do? My bow is, to me, I remember you saying to me, 20 pound. I was like, oh, for God's sake.
Exactly. Yes.
Because Michelle, I think, is on a 35 and she's half my size. Yeah. And I'm like, what? But I had to put my ego aside. And you cannot shoot that many ends with a bow that, Yeah. Again, going back to that beautiful 43-pound one. Oh, yeah. the power and everything in it. I love the power. I love the
Yeah.
speed and everything else. But realistically, I'm not going to be able to shoot stuff for long enough with that.
Yeah.
And if I want to go out and do competitions and stuff, I have to be able to pick the bow up and keep going.
Yeah.
And so I had to put my ego aside and listen to you and take your advice. So it'd be nice to build up to stuff, but I'm happy to be at what I'm at now.
Tell us a bit about Bane.
Bane, my
Yeah.
baby. I know, I'm so upset that I need to get another one now because he's my baby and I love him and he costs a lot of fucking money. And I went through God knows what to get him.
We are talking about Roberta's bow.
Yes, my beautiful bow, my jackalope bow.
Yeah, I really like
he
it.
He's stunning.
The odd occasion you allow me to shoot it.
You are allowed to. You have shot him every time I've been there.
I love shooting. There was something very smooth about it, and it's a 20-pound bow, and I've shot other 20-pound bows as well. My wife Michelle has a Black Hunter longbow, which is great fun to shoot. But there's something about the jackalope I find very. Okay, I tell you what, I was shooting the longbow the other night, and I couldn't get them to group, no matter what I did. But when I shoot your bow,
beautiful bow.
It's there, so nice and tight.
But even just handling him, like the way it's designed and everything, it's just really smooth.
But you put a lot of thought into it before you picked that bow. You didn't just rush out and get a bow. Like, you actually put a lot of thought into.
I wanted a purple bow.
It wasn't just the color.
No, it was.
Okay, then
I wanted a purple bow, and that's the only one I could find.
Okay, so I'm going to crumple up my page here where we talk about grip and poundage and draw length and all that.
No, I did all that
purple.
too.
Fine.
I did all that too, but I really wanted a purple bow, and then I saw that, and I'm actually really glad that I ended up with that, even if it was a different color.
Yeah,
it's just a lovely, really nice bow to shoot.
No, it is. No, in fairness, I enjoy shooting it too.
And it's got, if I'm shooting shorter distances, it's got a nice kick to it. It's
okay.
Good. Yeah. So you're going to Frankenstein me a bow.
I'm going to put together a bow. Yes, I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to set up my generators and wait for a stormy night and for the lightning to occur.
The hand, though, I have shot that one and I found the hand rest on it too short.
That's one of the problems I find with some of the metal takedown recurve risers.
Yeah.
There's a certain, I suppose, standardized.
There we go. We got there in the end.
Yes. I have fumbled with my word.
It's okay.
There's a certain regularity.
Oh, for God's sake.
With the grips on.
Here comes the thesaurus.
And you find a lot of people who are shooting, say, barebow or bow hunter, they'll add tape to their handle, or they'll end up doing things like molding epoxy and things like that and onto the handle, so it suits their grip.
Get different size hand things.
Not that often, and some people go so far as to actually taking off the handle and carving a new one that bolts on. Whereas I find with traditional bows, you've got a much kind of, for some reason, there's a nice. The bow, for example, I should say it's a metal recurve. It's a kinetic ember, and the reason
it's very pretty.
And okay, I never thought about it as pretty.
The first time I saw that bow, I wanted to shoot it. You said no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
Move on.
But what I liked about that bow was had a wooden grip that was slightly wider than a lot of the other grips I had been shooting, and there was something very nice and comfortable about it. But also, like, there's a certain natural feeling to it being wood as well. There's something nice about that. But you're right. When it comes to shooting bows, there's a certain, the grips aren't always.
Yeah.
There's something not always as comfortable as maybe what you might find on a traditional bow.
Yeah. You're gonna have to get over that somehow. My big man hands.
We'll work on that. It's okay. Anyway, it's all about relaxed grip anyway, so it's.
I know, but still. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Is there any skill or area of your shot cycle or anything like that you has taken you particularly long to develop, or something that you're still struggling with?
Oh, it changes all the time, Owen.
Yeah.
It really does. Like, I still don't think I have my stance.
Okay.
Because I'll shoot and then I'll move my feet again. I
and
never stay.
Is that a problem? Is it your stance, or is it you changing your stance?
I think I'm just changing my stance, because I'll shoot and then I'll be like, no, I don't like the way that was, and then I'll move something. Like I'll just move.
Yeah. But that's slightly different though. You're trying to find a stance as opposed to just shuffling your feet like after every shot.
Yeah. But every time I shoot, I change something.
And do you think, and again, not to go too deep into it, do you think that's what you're trying to find, a cycle that suits you, or is it just you just have to change it?
It's just physically I'm uncomfortable.
Okay.
So I need to change it. But it's also down to I've shot something and I'm like, that didn't end up where I wanted it to. So I
Okay.
need to change something. So I'm
Yeah.
going to start with this and then I'm going to shoot again. And then if okay, that worked.
Okay.
So it's breaking things down to see what is it? It's adding a variable to see whether or
Yeah.
not something that made a difference. And if that one change made a
Yeah.
difference, grand.
Because, and this is where like I would step in and out with you in the hall, because that there's weeks there. This isn't just a case where you're struggling all the time with
Mm-mm.
respect. I've seen you get them on a dime, like, in fairness.
Oh yeah, no. There's sometimes I go in and I'm like, Jesus, I'm shit hot.
Yeah.
And then there's other times I'm like, Jesus, get out.
But
Just
then
leave. Like,
is that, I'm wondering now, is that an actual a form thing, or is it?
I think it's a mindset thing.
Yeah.
Look at you leading me along there
Yeah. That
to your
was
point.
it wasn't very subtle, actually.
No, it is. It's a mindset thing. There's
Yeah.
sometimes I
Well,
go in
well,
with my mindset in a
but
certain way.
but you're always but this is where it goes with archery. It's one thing when you're working with the beginners, you have that nice kind of linear process where they come in
Mm.
and they hold a bow, and you have them standing like literally in front of the target with a 120 centimeter face, and the arrows are all over the place. With each every week, that's just getting tighter and tighter, and even after the beginners course, that tightening just
Yeah.
continues. The same with yourself then as well, and we worked through a few things and set your bow up, and there's days there like it's just wow, like amazing.
Mm.
And maybe it is a form thing, and maybe
I think
but
a lot of it with me is mindset, and
yeah,
that affects the form. And the reason for the mindset issue is because my body will not do what I want it to do. So I'm like in a lot of pain that day. So that's
mm,
pissing me off. So that affects my mindset then. You know what I mean? So if thank God it doesn't seem to be as bad as it used to be. When I first started, the pain I used to be in at the
yeah,
end of sessions was extreme.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah,
horrific. But going has loosened up a lot of things
yeah,
and helped in a lot of ways. And when you're in that much pain, and you're trying to focus on something and then you're getting frustrated because your body is just kind
yeah,
of we shouldn't be doing this, but your mind is no, but we can do it. You've got this battle going
mm.
on, and then that's when I'm shooting all over the gaff.
Uh,
Or like last Saturday when I went and I knew I shouldn't have gone,
yeah,
but I was like, okay, I can not go and be pissed off that I didn't go,
yeah.
or I can go and just be pissed off that I went and I wasn't great. So I was
Okay,
just kind of, I can keep hiding away, and if I push myself, I
yeah.
might get sicker. That kind of
Well,
way.
I think it's important that you come along, even if you didn't shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I went along and I was trying to do it. And I remember at one stage, I literally, my hand was like this and I was trying to pull the thing back.
Yeah.
For those who are listening, I was doing a shaky thing with my hand. And that's when I kind of went, no, we're going to
Uh,
stop now.
And
Like,
is that to do with your back?
no, there was literally at that stage, because I checked later, my heart rate dropped quite significantly
Okay.
because I have a heart condition as well, we'll
Okay.
add it to
Okay.
the list. So because COVID took so much out of me,
Yeah.
and I was trying to do the norm, my body was like, we're not doing this. And that's why I was shooting like shit.
But this is why we have so many conversations about pacing yourself as well.
Yeah, but I was taking that very slow.
Yeah.
I wasn't even shooting full
Yeah.
rounds. Like,
And I suppose, look, you've got the old mantra about people having to listen to your body and all that kind of thing, and that's fine. And it's very important to do that. And look, if somebody's uncomfortable or they're in pain or they're struggling, look, they're never going to
no.
deliver what
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah.
they're trying, especially
Yeah,
with archery, where it is all about focus
yeah,
and discipline
exactly.
and comfort and all that kind of thing. And that's why we've had so many conversations as well about your bow poundage
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
From my observations of you over the last, say, whatever, 6 months or a year or so, I can see your expansion has improved phenomenally.
Mm.
Your form, your T shape, your release, follow through, you have it all. And it's look, and when the time comes around that yeah, you might be struggling with like back pain
Mm.
or some other thing. Look, it's very important you give yourself that bit of space to acknowledge that and step back. It's not a mark of defeat,
Mm.
lack of commitment.
Yeah, no, that's what
It's,
I did though. I literally went and I sat outside for a few minutes and I was like,
yeah,
okay, so I'm either gonna keep going or I'm just gonna go home. And
yeah,
then I was like, no, just
yeah. And
you did what you
nobody
could
in
do.
any
Like,
way, shape, or form is
no, yeah.
that's
There was no judgment about it. There
yeah,
was no kind of, oh, she's a quitter. There's none of that. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? It was just go home, look
yeah.
after yourself.
You
And it
know,
is something I've become good at with archery.
yeah,
But I think, again, And I said this earlier, I don't want all the podcast to be a love letter to the club, but I think a lot of it's down to the people in the club where I feel I'm comfortable enough to say, okay, I'm just going to step away for a while.
Yeah.
There's not going to be, oh Jesus, what's wrong with her now? Blah, blah, blah. There's not going to be any of that.
Yeah.
Not to my face, anyway. It's like there's always something with her. But
no, truth be told, there's always something with everybody in some shape or form, and that's just the way it is. Whether it's big or small or hidden or not, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be physiological. There's people who come to the club sometimes, and they've had an absolute dog of a day at work, and you can see they're not but they've come along to the club, bit of a chat, let off some arrows, and it's a kind of I suppose, a release for them, just to step out, take the mind off whatever it is that's bothering them. A different space, no judgment. And again, I can't reiterate enough, it's like that in pretty much every archery club and in the field as well. That's what's nice about it. Have you thought about any kind of longer term goals in archery, or is there anything you're hopefully doing more competitions and getting better, but is there anything that you feel yourself getting involved in any other aspects of archery, or different bow styles or anything like that?
I don't think I'm going to do other bow styles.
Okay.
To be honest with you now, Jesus, if I shoot another bow style, I'm going to go, hey, that could change. I do want to try all of them except for that one, because I know if I try that one, I will want to shoot that one, so I am not going near it. And I don't really have any others that I'm particularly interested in at the moment. There's not really anything else I kind of want to get involved in. Like I think I was saying to Veronica, I haven't hyperfixated on this at all, which is really weird. Because normally with a lot of stuff, I will absolutely hyperfixate and I'll get to know every single bit of it. I will dissect it all. I will.
But maybe it's a longer, slower, more paced journey for you?
No, I think it gives me what I want the way it is.
Okay. And what's that?
Jesus. Honestly, therapy. Yeah, actually, it gives me therapy. There you go.
And do you find that's the shooting of the bow, or coming into the hall and hanging out with people, or
I think it's
the challenge, or everything in it?
Yeah, involved? I think it's everything. It meets the needs that I need met at this stage. So I don't need to go into a deep dive. I don't need to learn how to make my own arrows or anything like that. And I'm not saying that people who do that are looking for more. I'm just saying that it's really unusual for me to take up something, firstly, and stick with it.
Yeah.
And secondly, not do a whole autopsy on the whole thing.
Yeah.
And there's something about archery where I have not done it, because I think I went in, thought I was good at it, grand, we'll keep going, and it's meeting the needs that I need met with that. I suppose, to answer your earlier question, long term, what I would like to do is get more women involved, more girls involved, and more publicity.
And there ends part 1 of our reflection episode. Part 2 will be published tomorrow, maybe, possibly, undecided really. Hope you've enjoyed part 1. Feel free to leave any feedback you want. You can email us at archery.anarchy@gmail.com. Find us on Blue Sky, or if you want to leave a comment on whatever podcast platform you listen to us on, we will have a look. We'd also appreciate if you could rate and review us. It would really help to get the word out about the podcast. Thanks so much for your time, and I hope you join us for our next episode. Take care, stay in by the wall and mind the arrows.